Hi, today I am talking about rules of personal hygiene and sanitary food handling. So I are not invented just to make your life difficult. There are good reason for all of them. Instead of starting this chapter with list of rules, we first talk about the causes of foodborne diseases. So then, when we get to the rules, so you will understand why they are important. But this will make them easier to remember and to practice. The rules presented in this chapter are only basic guidelines, like local health department have more details regulation. All food service operator are responsible for knowing the health department regulation in their own city and state. So the information presented here is practical as well as theoretical. It should not merely be learnt but should be put to use systematically. So one effective system. So there is another is the food service. So food services establishment can use to ensure food safety in the hazard analysis critical control point, which one is the HACCP system. So this practical program identifies possible danger point and sets up procedure for corrective action. Which one HACCP is the introduced later in this chapter. Food hazard preventing foodborne disease is one of the most important challenges facing every food service worker. In order to prevent lens, a food worker must understand the source of foodborne disease. So most foodborne illness is the result of eating food that has been contaminated. To say that a food is contaminated means it contains harmful substances that were not present originally in the food. In other words, contaminated food is food that is not pure. In this section, we first discuss the various substances that can be contaminated food and cause illness. So afterward, we consider how these substances get into food to contaminate it and how food worker can prevent like contamination and avoid serving contaminated food. Any substance in food that can cause illness or injury is called a hazard. Food hazard are of three types. There is the three types of hazard. One is the biological hazard, two is the chemical hazard, three is the physical hazard. Notice it was said that most foodborne illness is caused by eating food that has been contaminated with foreign substance. Some illness is caused not by contaminants but by substance that occur naturally in foods. This included plant toxin. Toxin means poison that occur naturally in some foods, such as the chemical is poisons, mushroom, and also certain natural food and components to which some people are allergic. So this section consider all these kinds of food hazard pathogens. The most important kinds of biological hazard to consider are micrograms. Micrograms is a teeny, usually single-celled organism that can be seen only with a microscope. The micrograms that can cause disease is called pathogens. Although this organism sometimes occur is clustered large enough to be seen with the naked eye, they are not usually visible. This is one reason why they can be so dangerous. So just because food looks good does not mean it is safe. Four kinds of microorganisms can contaminate food and cause illness. So there is four means one of this one is the bacteria, two is the virus, three is the fungi, and four is the parasites. So most foodborne diseases are caused by bacteria. So most of our attention in this chapter in focused on them, but the other type can be dangerous as oil. But many of the measure we take to protect food from bacteria also help prevent the other three kinds of microorganisms. Bacteria, the bacteria are everywhere in the air, in the water, in the ground, on our food, on our skin, inside our bodies. Scientists have various way of classifying and describing this bacteria as food worker, and we are interested in a way of classifying them that may be less sensitive but is more practical to our work. And one is the harmless bacteria. Most bacteria fall into this category. They are neither helpful nor harmful to us. We are not concerned with them in food sanitation. Two is the beneficial bacteria. Like these bacteria are helpful to us. For example, many live in the intestinal tract where they fight harmful bacteria at the digesting of food and produce certain nutrients in food production. Bacteria make possible the manufacture of many foods including cheese, yogurt, and sauerkraut. And three is the undesirable bacteria. These are the bacteria that are responsible for food spoilage. They cause swearing, food refraring, and decomposition. This bacteria may or may not cause disease, but they offer a built-in the safety factor. They announce their presence by means of sour odors, stickily on the slimy surface and coloration. As long as we use common sense and follow the rules that says when in doubt throw it out, we are relatively safe from this bacteria. We are concerned with this bacteria for two reasons. There is one reason is the food spoilages cost money. Food spoilage is the a sign of improper food handling and storage. So this means the next kind of bacteria is the probably present. Four is the disease causing bacteria or pathogens. These are the bacteria that cause most foodborne illness. The bacteria we are most concerned with pathogens like do not necessarily leave detectable odors or taste in food. In other words, you can tell if food is contaminated by smelling, tasting, or looking at it. The only way to protect food against pathogenic bacteria is to use proper hygiene and sanitizer, food handling and storage technique. Each kind of bacteria pathogens cause disease in one of three way. Intoxicants are caused by poison, toxin the bacteria produce while they are growing in the food. It is this poisons, not the bacteria themselves, that cause the diseases. Like, and second thing is the infection are caused by bacteria or other organism that get into the intestinal system and attack the body. Disease is caused by the bacteria as they multiply in the body. And three is the toxin mediated infection are also caused by bacteria that get into the body and grow. Disease is the caused by poison the bacteria produce as they grow and multiply. Most foodborne diseases are toxin mediated infection. So bacteria multiply by splitting in half under ideal condition. For growth, they are double in number every 15 to 30 minutes. This means that one single bacterium could multiply to a million in less than 6 hour condition for a growth. And one food bacteria require some kind of food in order to grow. They like many of the foods we do, but foods with sufficient amount of proteins are best for bacteria growth. So this include meat, poultry, fish, dairy products, and eggs, as well as some grains and vegetable. To second thing is the moisture. Bacteria require water in the water to absorb food. Dry food do not support bacteria growth. Food with a very high salt or sugar content are also like relatively safe, because these ingredients make the bacteria unable to use the moisture present. So third is the temperature. Bacteria grow best at warm temperatures. The temperature between 41 degree Fahrenheit and 135 degree Fahrenheit. So 5 degrees C and uh, 57 degrees Celsius promoted the growth of disease causing bacteria. So this temperature range is called the food danger zone. 4 is the acidity or alkalinity. In general, disease producing bacteria like a natural environment, neither too acidic nor too alkaline. The acidity or the alkalinity of a substance indicated by a measurement called pH. The scale range for 0 strongly acidic to 14 strongly alkaline. A pH of 7 is neutral. Pure water has a pH of 7. And 5 is the oxygen. Some bacteria require oxygen to grow. They are called aerobic. Some bacteria are anaerobic, which means they can grow only if there is no air present, such as in metal cans, botulism. One of the most dangerous form for food poisoning is caused by anaerobic bacteria. A third category of bacteria can grow either with oxygen or without it. So these bacteria are called facultative. Most bacteria in food that cause diseases are facultative. And 6 is the time when bacteria are introduced to a new environment. So they need time to adjust to their surrounding. So before they start growing, so this time is called the lag phase. If other conditions are good, so the lag phase may last about 1 hour or somewhat longer. If it were not for the lag phase, so there would be much more foodborne diseases. Then there is this time delay makes it possible to have foods at room temperature for every short period in order to work on them. Potentially hazard foods, foods that provide a good environment for the growth of disease causing microorganisms are called potentially hazard foods. Looking back at our list of conditions for growth of bacteria, we can see the protein foods with sufficient moisture and neutral pH are the most likely to host bacteria and that cause disease of the condition in the list. The one of over which are we have the most control is temperature. Potentially hazards foods fall into two generally category plus 3 specific items that do not fit into these categories. But all these food plus any foods prepared with any of them are potentially hazard, or any food derived from animals or any food like containing animal product including meat, poultry, fish, shellfish, eggs and dairy products. So any food delivery from plants that has been cooked, partially cooked or otherwise heat treated. So this category included not only cooked like vegetable but also such items as cooked pasta, cooked rice and tofu, soybean, curd. And third is the raw seed spots. 4 is the sliced melons, because the edible flesh can be contaminated by the organisms on the rind exterior which has been in contact with soil. 5 is the garlic and oil mixture, because the oil seals the garlic from the air, fostering the growth of the anaerobic bacteria as explained above. The foods that are not potentially hazards, including dried or dehydrated foods. The foods that are strongly acidic and the commercially processed food that are still in their original unpacked, sealed and containers and locomotion. Bacteria can move from place to place in only way they must be carried. They can't move on their own. Foods can be become contaminated by any of the following means, like hands here cause air freeze water and other food insects equipment and tail utensils, rats and mice. So protection against bacteria, because we know how and why bacteria grow, so we should be able to keep them from growing, because we know how bacteria get from place to place. We should know how to keep the from getting into our food. There are three basic principles of food protection against bacteria. So these principles are the reason behind nearly all the sanitation technique we discuss in the rest of this chapter. And one is the keep bacteria from spreading. Don't let food touch anything that may contain disease producing bacteria, and protect food from bacteria in the air. Stop bacteria from growing. Take away the condition that encourage bacteria to grow in the kitchen. Our best weapon is the temperature. The most effective way to prevent bacteria growth is to keep foods below like 41 degree Fahrenheit or above 135 degree Fahrenheit. So this temperature won't be necessary to kill bacteria. So they will just slow down their growth greatly. And third is the kill bacteria. To kill bacteria, there is the most disease causing bacteria are killed if they are subjected to a temperature of 170 degree Fahrenheit for 30 seconds or higher temperature for shorter times. So this enable used to make food safe by cooking and to sanitize dishes and equipment with heat. Then term sanitize means to kill disease causing bacteria. Certain and chemical also kill bacteria. This may be used for sanitizing equipment. Bacteria diseases. Table 2.1 describes some of the most common bacteria diseases. For each disease, pay particularly attention to the way it is spread, and the food is food envelope, and the means or prevention. General practices and produce for the prevention of the foodborne diseases are discussed in a later section. Virus are even smaller than bacteria. They consist of like genetic material surrounded by a protein layer. Unlike bacteria, they can't reproduce or multiply unless they are inside a living cell, but they can be carried on almost any surface and can survive for days or even months. Viruses are inactive or dormant until they enter a living cell. Then they use that cell to make more virus and release them into the organism, the new virus. So can them enter new cells and continue to multiply, because virus do not multiply. In food like bacteria, food-borne viral diseases are usually caused by contamination from people, food contact surface, or in the course of seafood like contaminated water. So there is the table 2.2, the identifies the most important food-borne viral diseases. Parasites are organisms that can survive only by living on or inside another organism. The organism are the parasite. lives in and takes nourishment from is called the host. Practice may pass from one host organism to another and complete a different stage of their life cycle. In each organism, human parasites are generally transmitted to them from animal host. Human parasites are usually very small, and although they may be microbes, they are larger than bacteria. They can usually be killed by proper cooking or by freezing. The most important like diseases caused by human parasites transmitted by food are food are very inconstable to use the very important thing. So guys, that's it today. I already discussed how to the handling the food handling, like sanitizing, how to sanitize your hand, how to kill the bacteria. So I discussed whole thing today. So I hope you will get all the point. So next video I'll teach you regarding the temperature. Like we are making the food, what is the food temperature? Like we are making the beef, we are making the chicken, so what is the chicken temperature, what is the beef temperature? So next video I will teach the cook temperature. Okay guys, see you, take care and all the best.